Okay, this is the third video of this series. This orb is doing the twist. And we twist and we twist and we do it like this. That's what exactly it looks like a round orb that in the center it twisted itself. I get this a lot in orbs, this twisting. This one looks like it has a perfect 8 in there. You can see that very well, the 8. Sometimes I get an orb that looks like streams of light coming from a central sun-like part of the orb, with light streaming out of it. Now these streams of light, you see all the colors? When I just look at my light and I aim it toward my bed, because I'm doing all this filming of light in my bedroom, the light shines over me and I see all these strands of colorful light. Only unlike here, they start doing different maneuvers where they look very dimensional, and I see circles floating through them, concentric circles or round circles floating through them. So light is doing something different. I think these days light is changing. This was one I did that had a lot of violet in it, and it was like a ribbon of the light, but it has all these things that I thought reminded me of a grove of trees. This one I thought was just very beautiful, but can't tell what it looks like. It looks like itself. It doesn't have to look like anything we recognize in our material world. This one looks like a ripple in water. Sometimes these orbs look more like water, and sometimes they look more like fire. Now in this one, I call this the whirly bird. The light will vortex around. It twists in the middle, and one side of it will cup up like the top part of a vortex, and the bottom part of a vortex. Light vortexes a lot. Sometimes I get into a very colorful bunch of orbs, and I put on this one, "It's raining orbs." And then I call this one my sunset. It looked like a sunset in the sky. And this one is just a very holy orb. It's full of holes. Really strange looking. Now there's this little thing I'm pointing to here, if you can see that. That's an artifact. Here's another artifact, and there's my first one I ever had. And the double jointed ones down here. And this one here looks pretty much like a little fairy. I will show a close-up of it in one of the future ones. In this one you can see this thing right here. A character that I often see right before. Oh, wait a minute, it's not showing up. I'm looking at my viewer and it's, I don't know, maybe you can see it better now. I can't seem to maneuver this page, but this little character shows up a lot, and when I see it, I know I'm going to be seeing Harry, because he's in the spectrum of light that Harry lives in. Often you get dark spots in your orbs, and I don't know what they are. But sometimes it's a lot of darkness covers most of the orb up, and you can't even see the orb anymore. Now, this one shows the light. You see the light streaming from the light source there. And this orb coming from the light has already folded. It's like it's scrolling itself into a scroll. Often see this pattern right here. This little portion here is a common pattern of light that I see often. Now this shows that light orb emerging from the light, and now as it gets further out, another orb can form that's rounder, But this is the teardrop stage right here as they first come out. Now, here's a bullseye, what I call a bullseye. I see this with the naked eye when I look at light, and I see it with my camera. And many, many pictures of orbs that I have now have this circle, bullseye circle in them. Now I'll show you a succession of orbs pictures close in so that you don't see the little outside edge. I wrote on this one, "It's raining color and rings today." Circles and rings and little tube-looking figures. I see these with the naked eye but cannot see this awesome color so well unless I take a picture. There's another very colorful view close inside an orb. Another. And you see all these little circles. And I believe even beyond them there may be other little circles. Sometimes you have mostly red or mostly violet or mostly yellow. There's another one that is a bullseye. This one's very colorful. But in the next few photos, I will be showing you some of the artifacts. That is, the little things I think are inside my camera. Here's one. Now I went close in on it and took away some of the darkness so you could see the outline of it. It's the one I call the little fairy. And this one, I don't know what it looks like, but that's another artifact. And there's one that looks like this. And there's still another one that looks like this. Now, the important thing to see about this picture is that all these orbs have what look like two eyes in each one, pretty much in the same place inside the orb. It's kind of to the right and a little below center. And it's, even if the orb is all folded up, you can see often these two eye spots on it, even in its folded stage. Oh, and there's my double jointed artifact, the close-up of it. And this is sort of like how the light streams out. Only the way I see it is way more colorful, streaming out, and well, sometimes I do get more intense colors in some of the filming when I go up real close inside of an orb. But when I look at light, it's like if I had fireworks going on from the light in my bedroom. I look at the light, it's like, wow, I can make these stay in the air. And you look at fireworks and they so quickly disappear. But this is a different kind. Speaking of fireworks, this is something I took from a metaphysical book. And this was spoken by an ascended master who said, "The center of the minutest particle of substance is but an electronic ball of fire." It was Serapis Bey who said that. And I can believe that after seeing these pictures and seeing the orbs I'm getting pictures of. They look so many different ways. This one looks like a bag of light. And then look at this one. Looks like it's full of seeds. This one looks like a splashdown. Sometimes they have something that looks like it's a outside shell. This whitish looking part on this one looks like it's emptying out of itself a very colorful orb that is coming from it. They give birth to one another, and they exchange colors with one another. Now the colors don't show a lot of symmetry, hardly ever does it look symmetrical, but yet it is very beautiful, and it shows so much dimension. Sometimes there seems to be a crevice running through the center of the orb, like it was cut right through it. And there, like I've said before, there are no two orbs that are exactly alike. I see this sort of orb a lot. The colors will be different, but it's pretty much the same kind of patterning, but with different colors. As I watch the orb that I'm going to take the picture of, I'm seeing the colors change constantly. Now here's a close-up inside of one, and there's a bullseye-like part of it there. There's my artifact up there, the long one, and there's my first one. There's the fairy one. Sometimes I don't get all of the artifacts that I know I have in my camera, but I will show you something here. My newest artifacts are these little things here that seem to be lined up in a straight line. You see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 little round, really dark in the center circles, all lined up. That is my latest artifact-like thing. And you see, as this came out of the light, there's the 2 eyes. But now, not all of my cameras put the 2 eyes in the orb. Just that one particular camera that is my oldest one. Often I get this little worm-looking creature that seems to have segments to its body. And I don't think this is showing real good. Let me see. Maybe that's better. I often get these little beautiful circles of color, like an orb within an orb. Then I get intricate ones like this one. You just never know. Now, I think I've talked about this one in one of the other videos, but on that day in August of 2013, this ring came in, and here it is in this one. I haven't seen it since. Now, sometimes you'll see an orb, and one part of it is all blacked out by something dark that seems to cover it. Maybe it's one of those strands that look like the fiber optics that have stuff running through them. I really think this is something important that I'm seeing. Something that is going to take a very open-minded particle physicist to be mindful of this. Because sometimes they're worse than people with a religion. They have a religious belief about what they think everything is, and they don't want to have to alter their belief about that. But more and more these days, physicists are beginning to say, might have to change my thinking. And some are breaking new ground now because they will change their thinking. This to me looks like tapestry. Next picture. Okay, this is one that shows a strand of darkness going over this orb, and you can see right here it kind of looks like it bends. And these orbs take no space. I mean, there's no mass. I can put my hand right where this orb is coming from the light, just in the space around the light, and feel nothing. And yet there is something there that bends this itself over this orb, so it's got some tangibility to it, but only not in the dimension we're in. Another dimension that this is in. And see how the light will swirl around and make a little vortex? This one, I will end this video because I'm at my 15-minute level. But this is a perfectly round hole. I thought it was very interesting.